Hi there. Question. Have you ever done rock climbing, gone for treks, crossed a river valley on a tight rope with a little equipment? Well, if you haven't, then you should surely do it. And that's what mountain climbing is all about. Now, you must be wondering why I'm suddenly talking about this. Well, no. Look, we're not going for any outdoor excursion together, sadly, but this is in fact our topic for the session. It's called The Summit Within. And before I tell you anything further, let me introduce you to the writer. Now, Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia is an Indian mountaineer. During his career spanning 45 years, he has made immense contributions in the field of adventure, sports, environment, and social work. Ahluwalia is also been the president of the Indian Mountaineering Foundation and the Delhi Mountaineering Association. Apart from that, he was also the chairman of the Special Ability Trust, the Youth Exploring Society, the Rehabilitation Council of India, and he was the chairman of the Planning Committee of Persons with Disability of 12-year Planned, and also the chairman of the Committee of Drafting Country Report. Due to his advanced training at the Himalayan Mountaineering Institute in Darjeeling, he climbed extensively in Sikkim and Nepal. Eventually, he climbed Mount Everest on the 29th of May, 1965. Major Ahluwalia was a member of the first team conquering Mount Everest in 1965. In this extract, he tells us about his feelings as he stood on the highest peak of the world, Mount Everest. Let's read what he has to say. The Summit Within by Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia. Of all the emotions which surged through me as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of panorama below us, the dominant one, I think, was humility. The physical in me seemed to say, "Thank God, it's all over." However, instead of being jubilant, there was a tinge of sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing and there would be nothing higher to climb and all roads hereafter would lead down? By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It is a joy which lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountains is never the same again. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind, no less formidable and no easier to climb. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion had gone, I began asking myself the question why I had climbed Everest. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? It was already a thing of the past, something done yesterday. With every passing day, it would become more remote. And then what would remain? Would my memories fade slowly away? All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climb mountains. It is not easy to answer the question. The simplest answer would be, as others have said, because it is there. It presents great difficulties. Man takes delight in overcoming obstacles. The obstacles in climbing a mountain are physical. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. The demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating, as it was for me also. I have a more personal answer to the question. From my childhood, I have been attracted by mountains. I had been miserable, lost, when away from mountains in the plains. Mountains are nature at its best. Their beauty and majesty pose a great challenge, and like many, I believe that mountains are a means of communion with God. So in the extract, we see Major Ahluwalia sharing his feelings after he has successfully scaled Mount Everest. There were several emotions rushing through his mind and body, but as he stood on the summit and looked around the extensive landscape, the only emotion he could experience was that of humility. He thanked God for having overcome the physical journey. He was happy, of course, that it was all over, but at the same time, he also felt a tinge of sadness. Probably that had something to do with the fact that he had already climbed the highest mountain peak and there was nothing left or nowhere higher to go. And all the roads after this would only lead downwards. It's that bittersweet feeling that you get after achieving something. In this portion of the extract, Major Ahluwalia tells us, after climbing a mountain as high as Everest, the only thing that a person experiences is thankfulness. This feeling of joy would last forever. He even says that after this experience, no man will ever be the same person again. Major Ahluwalia talks about another summit that one has to climb, and that is the summit of the mind. He says that scaling the inner summit is no less challenging than scaling the Everest itself. One question that had crossed his mind while descending from the summit was what made him climb the Everest in the first place? It had already become a thing of the past, It was something that he had done a day before. Why is he still thinking about it? Major Ahluwalia knew that with every passing day, this memory would slowly fade. Soon he had another question, and that was, why do other people climb mountains? The simplest answer to that is, well, climbing mountains is a challenging task. Apart from that, it is also a very satisfying feat on reaching the summit, when one feels great simply because they have managed to overcome so many difficulties. Climbing a mountain is a tough task because it tests one's physical strength and willpower. A climb to a summit requires endurance, persistence, and willpower. Thereafter, Major Ahluwalia gives a personal answer to the question. He says that since he was a child, he had an attraction towards mountains. He never liked the plains. Being away from the mountains made him miserable and lost. For him, mountains are the best specimens of nature. He feels that their beauty and grandeur represents a formidable challenge to every human being, and above all, he felt that mountains are closer to the Almighty. So conquering the summit even made him feel closer to God. With that, I shall take your leave, and I'll be back with more views of Major Ahluwalia on scaling the summit. Stay tuned. Tutormate. For more amazing video lectures, download the free app on the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store.